Hello everyone and welcome! As the universe expands and gets deeper and deeper, more characters emerge. And not all of them necessarily have to be champions. Today I want to talk about 5 side characters with enough story and character that they could be easily turned into future champions. I will try to avoid characters that are mentioned without any further context, like the girl that talked to Ivern, or characters that straight up died with no way of returning. I would love to see Yago as a champion, but after the duel with Rice, I don't think that's possible. I also want to avoid the majority of characters that were speculated for years. If you want to see some of the older ideas, there will be a link somewhere to a video we did together with Jeremy from Gaming Curious. So without further ado, let's try to predict some of the future League of Legends champions. The first one I want to talk about is Sadaqa. Now, the majority of you probably tilted your heads, having no idea who that is. Sadaqa is a character Nasus described in the Bloodline story. As more people achieved the Ascension, the Ascended formed a group, and Sadaqa was their leader. She was known as the warrior queen of the Ascended host. One day, a desert fortune teller told her that she would see the sun rise on the day a Shuriman emperor ruled the entire world. It made her think she was invincible, for they were yet to conquer the world. But she was brought down by monsters the day Ikathia welcomed the Void. Nasus was the one who buried her, together with her legendary weapon, the Chalikar, which is now in the hands of Sivir. It wouldn't be too surprising to see Sadaqa return. First of all, Azir has the power to bring back the images of those who fell in Shurima. Combining that with the remains of Sadaqa and the healing well that brought back Azir, it seems possible to resurrect her. The second thing is that Azir will need every warrior capable of fighting when the time comes to face Xerath and his army. Bringing back old legendary warriors might be handy. Another character that may appear in the game is one of the angels. Now, I use the term angels loosely because I am not talking about Kayle or Morgana. And although there may be some connections, the description we have just doesn't fit them. I am talking about the high beings of Targon that come down and talk to anyone who conquers Mount Targon. And each time they appear, they seem to be slightly different. When this character appeared in front of Tariq, it was a man with stars gleaming inside his body. When Leona was confronted by it, it was a young golden-winged boy with horns. In this case, it reminded more of a demon than an angel. In fact, the final challenge for some of our heroes were strange golden demons that turned dark when near death. As I mentioned, these beings may be connected to Morgana and Kayle, but I am sure they are not actually them. Right now we are waiting for an update to see what they really are. The next character on my list is a recent addition. Tamara or Colette from the Progress Day story. Oh, excuse me. Apparently I was pronouncing the name wrong. It is
Colette.
But I like my version more, so I am going to stick to it. I will have to put a major spoiler warning for those who haven't seen or read the Progress Day story, because what we are going to talk about will ruin the story for you. So, I think the end of that story was a big surprise to everyone. Seeing a side character playing a major, if not the main role of a story that may change the world. In the future, when Noxus finally invades Piltover, there will be a big event. I am talking about full experimental toxic war in the style of World War I. On one side we have Piltover, a fully weaponized city in the cliffs above the sea. On the other side, Noxus, using dark magics, brute force, and weapons based on stolen schematics and information, all because of Colette. There is definitely enough material to form either Tamara or Colette into fully fleshed out champion. Colette could be a powerful artificer with experimental weapons similar to Victor, and Tamara could be an engineer tactician, using something like mines as her main mechanic. The question is, will that ever happen? Next up we have a character that probably has the best chance at making it into the league, the Ruined King. A character that not only should be in the game, I can guarantee one day he will be. The Ruined King is the man responsible for turning the Blessed Isles into the Shadow Isles. In the story, we don't really know what happens to him. He cast a spell in an attempt to bind his and his wife's souls together, but he underestimated the powers hidden beneath the lands and he created the Black Mist. Now, the Black Mist doesn't seem to be fully sentient. It seems like there is something holding it back from spreading beyond the Shadow Isles, only going forth during the harrowing. We can speculate that it is because of the Ruined King. However, we have actual evidence that something, possibly the Ruined King, is controlling the mist and all the undead. In Yorik's story, after the ruining events happened, he tried to talk to some of the undead souls, but none of them would be able to answer him. He learned how to sever the ties to the Black Mist and take control of the dead. He could make them listen to his own will. Because the mist is constantly trying to take over Yorik, it is too dangerous for him to go to the center of the Isles. That's why he began to use the ghouls as scouts, sending them into the crater where the Ruined King died, telling them to bring him information about the ruining curse. But to this day, none of them successfully returned. The Ruined King already has so much story behind him, it would honestly be dumb not to include him as a playable champion. The only thing that leaves me confused is Mordekaiser. Before the Ruined King, Mordekaiser was the most powerful of all the undead. But because we don't know what is happening beyond the Black Mist, we don't know whether it is Mordekaiser or the king commanding the damned. Wouldn't it be awesome if there were two different undead armies battling in the center of the Isles? The king and his Black Mist against Mordekaiser and his liches. All the more material for future stories. And the last character, Raven. Raven is the only one that was speculated for a while that I had to put on the list. It is because if he ever makes it into the game, I will be the happiest person alive. Raven was the first side character to get the same attention from Riot as any other champion. He is the right hand of Misfortune, a loyal servant that believes that she can free Bilgewater and turn it into a better place. There are hints pointing at a long history between him and Misfortune. You can also tell from the way they talk to each other. They are not just shipmates or fellow pirates, they are friends that work together. While Misfortune was the type which would always settle the score with her guns, she always relied on Raven operating from the shadows, gathering information, distracting crowds, assassinating important targets. He is the man who moves without sound and operates without sight. There is so much character behind him. In the Shadow and Fortune story, he had some pretty funny interactions with Illaoi, unlike any other champion had till this day. Riot managed to sneak in some comical parts without breaking the seriousness of his character. After so much writing and building around Raven, there is no way Riot will ignore him. He already played role in couple different stories. Just imagine the outburst of joy in the lore community once Raven is turned into a champion. The moment he is announced, it will be those who read the stories to know who he really is first. And that is the moment I am still looking for. I hope you enjoyed this list. There are many more characters that could be on the list. If you think I forgot a character with enough potential to become a champion, feel free to tell me. I really wanted to make this video not only for fun but also to try and predict the future. Theoretically, Riot turned a side character into a champion only once in its entire history, that champion being Jarvan IV, which by the way doesn't mean that Jarvan III couldn't appear as well. I always thought he was dead, but apparently he never actually died, or at least we have no idea what happened to him, so he could still currently be the king. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and possibly feedback, since everything helps. If we get 2000 likes, I will do nothing, because I don't really care. You can like it if you want, but if you don't, just dislike it, I will accept it anyway. Again, thank you so much, and as always, thank you come again.